time being 6:32, we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'm Guida Brown, I'm Board Supervisor, District 11, and Chair of PDAC.
Frederick Brookhouse, District 16.
David Gertson, District 15, County Board Supervisor.
Aaron Carroll, District 23, County Board Supervisor.
Mary Decker, County Board Supervisor, District 22.
Julia Robinson, County Board Supervisor, District 5.
Eric Meadows, District 18.
Olivia Gergen-Yeg, Kendall LeGrand-Yeg.
April Webb, Planning Office.
Emma Larson, Extension, Kenosha County.
Andy Bueller, Director of Planning Development.
Thank you. We.
Yes, so we have our agenda was posted in the Kenosha News for 2 weeks and required November 25th and December 2nd.
Right, and we did have a work session yesterday with the committee present, and so some of the issues that we're addressing today, all of the issues that we're addressing today were discussed there, so you're on top of this.
All right, thank you. So item number one, actually item number 2 is the review and possible approval request to approve the reappointment of John Coffey to serve on the Silver Lake Management District Board. So this is a reappointment. And some on the committee may have been here when we worked with developing the Lake Management District, and John Coffey has been very instrumental, and we would look to recommend for that to occur again.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Yeah, what's the date?
Aye.
The rest of the committee?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Right. Thank you.
Did we want Mr. Coffey to say anything?
I'll say thank you guys.
Did you want to say anything?
I just want to say thank you very much. It's been my pleasure to be doing this for these years. I've been working with the Silver Lake since 2012 when we first ran into our problems with the milfoil. So I do want to say, since we become a district, I think our lake has become more of a family. Just in our district meetings in Memorial Day weekend, we have made more friendships going to those meetings and gotten to know our neighbors just from that. So we have a ton of support for the Lake District too. So I just wanted to let you guys know that it's been an incredible experience for us.
That's wonderful. That's so good to hear. It
And-
really is.
Yeah, one more thing I'd like to point out, at the beach, now that the parks have let kayakers and paddleboarders, that's incredible. The feedback that I get from that is incredible. What a great idea to do that. So hopefully we can keep that going as well. So,
Good.
Thank you.
all right, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming and thanks for your time and effort as well.
Yeah,
Anytime. Thank you.
thanks, everyone.
So item number 3 is Nicholas A. and Welcome Revocable Trust, 5319 60th Drive, Union Grove, Wisconsin, 53182 owners. Planning Development Extension Committee is 19600 75th Street, 185-3, Bristol, Wisconsin, 53104. It's a sponsor requesting a rezoning from A2 General Agricultural and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District to A2 General Agricultural District and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District. Tax parcel number 304-220-0130400, located in the town of Brighton. So I'll bring up the map for this. So this property may look familiar. We did a certified survey map on this property to do a land division. And at that time, the property owners had a desire to build in this back area, but they did not have approval to cross through the wetlands. And so we did some soil tests up front here and in the rear to make sure that the property could be subdivided and if it was built on in the front. Since then, they have gone through the process through the DNR to get approval to fill this area here so they can put a driveway through. They did get approval for that. So as a result, then we do a wetland rezone to reflect the approval of the fill going in for the driveway. And so that's why that area is missing there. And then I have this map here in their application that you can see here what it looks like in this small area to be able to get the driveway through back here. This happens every so often when we have these type of situations where wetlands cut off areas of the property. And many times when it's very narrow like this, they can then get an exemption to do a fill. Sometimes when they're wider, you can't do that. But in this case, they did. And so that's why the committee is sponsoring it to reflect what is taking place there.
All right. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this? So,
I have a question.
yeah,
Do they put a culvert underneath the road that's going over the wetland?
Yeah, typically there is gonna be a culvert in there.
Okay.
I didn't look at the design, but that was asked yesterday as
Oh,
well.
okay, yeah.
Typically, there's gonna be a small culvert in there to allow the water to flow through.
Very good.
okay, motion.
Motion. Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Two motions. Okay. Supervisor Robinson. To approve the rezoning. This is the word I was looking for, rezoning. Any further discussion? Okay, let's see. Rest of the committee?
I,
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimous.
And I'll just mention on this is with almost every community that we have, whenever we have these wetland updates, in a sense, the map, the communities have signed off and have said that we can handle it here, that they don't need to hear it. So that's why we don't have a recommendation from the town. Because they've already told us when these occur, we're good with it.
Oh,
So in this case, we have items 4, 5, and 6, which are all together. So I'll read the first one in and then I'll kind of explain them all and then we'll go through each one separately. So item 4 is Vicky M. Axton, 29,335 41st Street, Salem, Wisconsin, 53168 owner. Angela Axton, 29,335 41st Street, Salem, Wisconsin, 53168 Eden. Request an amendment to the adopted land use plan map, North County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from general agriculture and open land and non-farmland wetland to general agricultural and open land, suburban density residential and non-farmland wetland on tax parcel number 304-220-293-0401 in the town of Brighton. So I'll pull up this first map and just show you the overall area. And B and 41st Street just west, you can see the larger property here. And what the comprehensive plan is for this general ag and open land. And then there's a home that sits here. They're looking at splitting that off. That's the third one, which is a certified survey map, and then doing a rezone for that. So the comp plan is being requested so that it would go to the suburban density to allow for a smaller lot, kind of like what actually exists right here. Then from that, there would be the associated rezone, which would rezone it from A2 to R2, which is between 1 acre and 5 acres. And then we would reflect the 2 wetland areas that exist on the property as a wetland inventory map. So whenever we see those, we then have those zoned for C1 protection. And those maps are prepared by the DNR. And then with that, it's all based upon the fact of doing a certified survey map here. And here's the property where this acreage is being split off from the rest of the property. And we have the petitioner here who can explain it all in detail.
What more would you like to know?
Start by stating your name and your address, please.
My name is Angela Axton. My address is 29211 41st Street, and I'm the agent for this for my parents. Vicky Axton is my mother. So they are desiring, as you can see, to split off that small lot where their home is, my parents' home is, and the remaining farmland to the, I guess it would be to the south, to be a separate remnant parcel. Right now, their main reasons for desiring this, two main reasons. One is just estate planning for the future. And then the second reason is we run a sanctuary on the 10 acres that are next to it, which they also own. And so there's a lot of volunteers that kind of go back and forth on the two properties. And right now, the property is in their own name, and they'd like to be able to keep their house out of the property that has some of the sanctuary volunteers that are coming onto it. For a lot of liability reasons of the people taking care of the animals and volunteering with the animals. So that is the main two desires of why they are wanting to divide the home out of that main larger parcel.
Any questions?
Is that the hat?
Yes.
Can you explain it?
So our sanctuary it's mostly a large animal sanctuary, but we also do human healing. So we take some of the smaller animals to senior living facilities and facilities that have adults with disabilities. And so we call it Hooves for Happiness. We try to bring joy to some of the residents there. And then we go to auctions and rescue animals that most likely would be sent to slaughter, and then rehome and adopt out some of the animals. Some of them will stay at the farm as residents. So that is mostly on the other land where the horse barn is.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I just want to have a conversation with her, of course. I really want to.
We have one steer, but you can go on our website and we're on our social media all the time. So you can learn a lot there.
Any other questions? No, okay. Is there anyone wishing to speak for the petition? Anyone wishing to speak for the petition? Anyone wishing to speak against petition? Anyone wishing to speak against the petition? Can you tell us how the municipality voted?
Yes, I'll say it's just once, I think this time, because it's all the same, but the Brighton board met on this on November 10th. As you can see, a motion was made to approve when it passed unanimously 3-0, which is the same for the other items. But we'll take the first item, and this one is a roll call because it's a comp plan amendment.
Motion to approve the comprehensive plan amendment.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, so now by name, Kendall, how do you vote?
Aye.
Olivia?
Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. I'll read into the next item and we'll vote, which is Vicky M. Axon, 29,335 41st Street, Salem, Wisconsin, 53168 owner. Angela Axon, 29,335 41st Street, Salem, Wisconsin, 53168 agent. Request a rezoning from A2 General Agricultural District to A2 General Agricultural District, R2 Suburban Single Family Residential District, C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District, and the PV Planned Unit Overlay District on tax parcel number 304-220-293-0401, located in the town of Brighton.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It was Supervisor Decker, Supervisor Gersten. Any discussion? Favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any saying sorry, ladies, I forgot you. Okay, motion carries unanimously. I assume they yelled it out with everybody else.
All right, item number 6 is Vicky Mackin, 29,335 41st Street, Salem, Wisconsin, owner. Angela Axon, 29,335 41st Street, Salem, Wisconsin, 53168 agent, requesting a certified survey map on tax parcel number 304-220-293-0401. And so this, we would recommend approval subject to conditions, which we have up here. And again, that's just things that need to be updated in regards to the CSM. So it's in recordable form. Here are the conditions. So it would be approval subject to these conditions.
Motion to approve subject to the conditions as stated.
Second.
A motion from Supervisor Decker, a second from Supervisor Robinson. Any discussion? Yeah, how would you like to vote? Anyone else?
Aye.
Any abstaining, any opposing, motion carries unanimously. All right, so
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So just so you know, so the comp plan and the rezone go before the county board.
Okay.
in January. That'll be the next meeting. You do not need to attend. The chair presents this before the board. Everything was unanimous. And then, if you haven't already received with your surveyor a copy of the conditions,
Ben emailed it today.
okay.
Yep.
Then, he'll make all the updates that are needed.
Okay.
He'll prepare it so it's in a recordable form. And then once the approvals take place at the county board and the county executive signs off on them, if the assembly's ready, then that can get recorded. And then you're all set with then doing the rest of the transfers.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking care of the animals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So item number 7 is UW Extension Feature Program, Constructing Clarity Housing Task Force Update on Resources and Outreach. Are you gonna wanna plug in, Savannah?
I can't, I'm doing the meeting right now too, so
Okay.
I got you.
Again, though, they can see. Yes, Savannah gets herself over here. I want to recognize her. Speaking of Kaba. Yeah. Oh, Kaba.
That's pretty soft for one time. No, I was one of the Future 5 award winners for Cabot Innovation Award. Thank you all so much. I'm very excited. I was nominated and I received the award and I will be getting to accept it in February. So if any of you are at the Ovation Awards, I'd love to celebrate with you all. No pressure though. I know the tickets are a little steep too, so. But
Pretty big Savannah.
thank you all so much. You're all so kind. I also do, oh, no, let me stop sharing for a second. Oh, guys. Thank you so much. I have 2 different flyers for you all as well. Let me.
Hi, Sam.
Apologies to everybody. Well, while they are ending. Thank you.
I'm gonna say it was on the screen.
That's it.
Thank you.
So you go.
Sorry. Promise I'm done with the presentation.
It's on there.
It is, it's not on my screen.
Oh,
You know which.
I've been presenting. Are you gonna say something?
I am, I'll stop here. It was just taking a second because I wanted to extend my displays instead of duplicate that, but we should be golden now. Yes. Yeah. Alrighty, can you see it on there? Perfect. Apologies on my technical difficulties today. Can everyone see behind my head or would you like me to move over a chair? No? Perfect. Well, thank you all for letting me be here today. I am very excited. Again, I am Savannah Myers. I am our community development educator for UW Extension. And for the past a little over a year, I have had the honor of working on housing for the Kenosha County Housing Task Force and just the community in general. So today, with our little punny kind of title here, I'm going to be constructing clarity on our Kenosha County Housing Task Force and just update you all on the resources and outreach we have been doing. So for those of you who might need a little refresher too, or might not be familiar with our task force, we are co-led by Kenosha County and the Kenosha Area Business Alliance. And the task force brings together developers, municipal and nonprofit leaders, financial specialists, we have real estate agents and community members who are passionate about promoting housing options for everyone across Kenosha County. So as you can tell, we've been very busy over the past year. You can see some really fun pictures here too. Don't worry, I have lots of pictures, more pictures than words. I know how boring words can get on a presentation. So if you look down here too, we have some from our bigger meetings. We have people at action right here doing some strategic planning, some of our kind of working groups too. And then of course, Andy with the map, because it wouldn't be a housing task force without Andy with the map. So looking a little bit more into our task force, how it is set up. So we have had two larger housing task force meetings. We had our first one in November of 2024. So that was our kickoff meeting. And as you can see, these are highlighted blue. I'm not going to touch these ones. However, these are now actually readily available for anybody in the community to look at, which is a new big exciting update. So we are very excited to share that. And we also had another meeting in 2025 in June, which was just kind of our update meeting. So we had Livable Kenosha in and come talk about their report they did. We also had one of my former colleagues, her name is Kelly Westland. She came and did a presentation on community land trusts. So this is kind of a CLT 101, but this community land trust is kind of a really cool way to keep housing affordable in the community. So a nonprofit will own the land and will lease it to the homeowner, but that person will actually own the home. So they are able to sell that home, but they have to sell it kind of at that lower rate. However, they still do make money off of that home. I did get to go to a conference later on. I'll talk a little bit about that later in our presentation. I'm still learning a lot about it too, but it is a really cool, interesting model that I would love to talk more to later on if anybody's interested in learning more. So outside of our large working groups, we all know too, especially because we're sitting here on a committee, those big groups are great, but that's not where the real work gets done. So we are doing a lot of working groups as well. So we have 3 that we are currently highlighting and really working in right now, which is our financial tools, our planning, zoning, and design standards, and our promotion group. So next, I'm going to get a little into what these groups have been focusing on over the past year and really kind of what work they have been doing within that time frame. So first is our financial tools. This one is really headed a lot by Jason Peters, who is the vice president at CAVA. He is really taking on this group. And right now, one of the big things they're doing is they're engaging with developers on what they're currently experiencing with those financial gaps in constructing new homes. They've also been having conversations about what kind of financials are looking like, where that financial tool would best be fit, and kind of the data to back that up. And then they're also exploring innovative ways that they can create and use financial tools in the community. Because if people are going to be getting big organizations, big groups to put their money behind something, they want to make sure that they have the data to put behind it and that they're really putting that money to the best use. Next, we have our planning, zoning, and design standards. And you would have never guessed who would be in charge of this group, but it would be Andy Bueller, who's here next to me. And I do often help him with this group as well. But this group really focuses on engaging those local municipalities and other key partners on how those zoning ordinances and comp plans and all those things can be altered to include new types of housing and how they really impact the ability to create new residential spaces in our community. We are also reviewing how to simplify the permitting and approval process. Some of our conversations we've had with just developers or other people in the community, they really talk about how different municipalities within our community have different ways that they do this. And some of them are much easier to work with than others. And sometimes this really can prohibit developers from wanting to come into our community. So looking to see how we can make that simpler and make it more inviting and get more people to want to come. And then finally, really looking at those design standards and how they're communicated also in those ordinances. And then finally, this one's my personal favorite, but that's because this is the one I get to lead, is our promotions group, which is really focused on that education, like what I'm doing right now. But also, we're going to start looking more into that marketing piece to try and get people to come in and start kind of investing in developing in Kenosha County. So one thing and the biggest thing we've been doing is creating educational materials for the community. So as you can see, you have one of our fact sheets in front of you. So that's kind of going through a lot of what I'm talking about right now is what is the Kenosha County Housing Task Force? What are our working groups? What we're kind of doing right now. And then we also have a landing page, which is that smaller little sheet right there too. And I'll pull it up in a second too. Hopefully technology wants to work with me today. But now we have that landing page and those are those educational kind of components that we've already put out there. We're also been working with other community partners, other partners within the extension to create educational opportunities for community members to engage with us. So that is that Clue workshop, which I also have another slide on. Don't worry, that one does have pictures unlike this one. And then finally, we have educating different populations on ongoing efforts through presentations such as this one. So now I'm going to go a little bit more into those task force deliverables. So these are some of those things that we've already created, some of those things that we are currently working on as well. So just like I said, to that little sheet of paper, I promise the QR code does work. It might not have worked on the first one, but I promise you it works on this one. We double checked it before bringing it in. But this is our Kenosha County Housing Task Force landing page. We did premiere this, my goodness, at the end of October at that Clue workshop. So I will show it to you if it will let me. It will. Fantastic. So this is on our Kenosha County webpage under the planning and development kind of line. And it goes over who we are. So if you didn't know who we are, I've already shown 3 places. So hopefully people will start to know who we are a little bit more if they don't already. And then also looking into the why that is important, kind of looking through that and saying, hey, we're not just slapping the word housing on things and just hoping it goes somewhere, showing that this truly is something that our community cares about, that our county exec cares about, that we should all care about. And then also looking into some of those other educational opportunities. So that sheet that you have right in front of you is right here. And then I don't know if you've all had the opportunity to look at the Development Opportunity Investigator yet, but this has been done with GIS and Kenosha County too. And it's a super duper cool tool that helps you explore land use in the community. So we really love this residential land use one right here, but you can look and it actually even shows where those tax increment districts are throughout all of Kenosha County, what those parcels might be for those for taxes later on. It will show you those residential zones. And a really, really big one that's been really a big appeal to a lot of our developers is it does show those sewer areas and those sewer and water lines, as infrastructure can also be a really big barrier for people to want to develop in the area. So if you click on this, let me see. There we go. It's loaded, but it will show you a lot of really cool stuff here. As you can see, you can look at that zoning, you can look at the land use, you can look at the water and sewer, and it shows you all those different areas within Kenosha County. So again, that's on that little QR code that you all have right in front of you. I'm not going to play with it too much right now, but if you all would like to play with it later on too, I know Andy would love to walk you through it. This has been a really, really big project for them, and we're really excited to get to continue to highlight it. All right. So with that too, I also want to give a huge shout out to IT and Joe Potente. They were really great in helping us make that happen as well. I also forgot to go a little further down on that, but if you go past those 2 blocks, you'll see all those presentations I was talking about earlier. So we have it from that initial kickoff meeting where it's kind of that state of Kenosha County for housing, what's going on with Kenosha County housing, and then me and my program manager through Extension did a presentation on just different initiatives and really cool innovations happening across the country and across the state, and a lot of really great opportunities to look at examples there. And a lot of those have kind of worked down into our working groups. And then we also had a few questions in there too, where we had a facilitated conversation with those members at the initial task force meeting on what they've been hearing about housing, some of those barriers for housing in the community, and potential ideas that they were really excited about how we could kind of combat those barriers. And then those other presentations I was talking about were there for too. Any really relevant reports that we've seen, so that Livable Kenosha report's on there too, and so is the Kenosha County Health Improvement Plan. We put that Thrive on there as well, as they determined that housing was one of their big things they were working on as well. So we've also been working with public health on this. They kind of serve with our promotions group to make sure we're cross collaborating on that, as this is not just a single issue, but really a system-wide issue. And then we also just have some news articles, so really cool, exciting stuff that's happening. We send those news articles as much as we possibly can to keep them up to date. So our next big thing was that CLUE workshop. So CLUE stands for the Center of Land Use Education. They are out of Stevens Point. So we brought down Becky Roberts, who does get to come down for free because she also does have an extension appointment. Another really great thing about paying into extension and into community development specifically is she works there with us. So we were able to bring her down, didn't have to pay anything for that, and got to provide this really, really awesome educational opportunity. So this was for elected officials and other key partners in Kenosha County. And when we had it, it was October 29th over at the Summers Auditorium, and we did have 16 attendees. While some of these individuals might not have gotten to go, we did record it as it was a more interactive experience. So we did have the opportunity to give that presentation as well. So that is that final one on here. April will also be putting this PDF in the notes. So if you want to look at any of these specific presentations, they will be in those meeting notes, and you can go ahead and click on those as well. But again, really, really exciting opportunity. So we all came down when we first got to that meeting. Obviously, we did the whole, got to introduce everybody because we had someone new in the room, got to know our group. And then we started with, you guessed it, a state of Kenosha County housing, what we were doing and why it was important, because I want to try and stress it as much as I possibly can. And I've started to get kind of decent at that presentation, so I like to give it as much as I possibly can. And then after that, we also had Andy come present maps. Gotta love it, but he talked about that development tool as well. And then after that, we had Becky come up and she introduced the game. So if you look in this corner down here, this is what that initial board looked like. So as you can tell, there's a bunch of different kind of parcels. We have a bunch of little kind of cards. A lot of them had houses on them because we were focusing mostly on residential planning and zoning and land use. But we had this whole area, you got 10 minutes, every single minute counted as a decade, so it was kind of 10 years. And you just tried to set down as much as you could within these areas. It's kind of hard to see too, but they all kind of have a land use written on them as well. So she kept it very open and said, okay, go ahead, build your stuff. So then after that, we kind of sat and talked and we looked down, and as you can tell, right up here, we've already filled in all of that there, but you can still see how many things we need to fill in. So then we started talking, we're like, okay, now that we have all of our land and space filled, what are we gonna do next? So that's when we introduced some of these other housing options. So looking into those smaller lot sizes with cottage courts, or looking into accessory dwelling units. So being able to have more than one home on one piece of land, or townhomes where those also have that smaller lot requirement. You can see down here, we got real creative and got to play with Legos. So those Legos kind of showed what that was. And then you can see too, we have these little brown boxes that say grow. So every few minutes, we got the opportunity to try and grow. However, we do know that even if we want to grow sometimes, it doesn't always work out. So if you look down here again, that big yellow box was something that was prohibiting us from growing. So that one was utility size solar, but we also had other things too, like the other community next to us just didn't want to let us grow, or things like wetlands, which you all definitely know because we were talking about that earlier in this meeting. So really, really cool opportunity to sit and talk about that. Then we discussed kind of those different housing types, so we thought about them and then looked a little bit more into ordinances and examples in our surrounding community and our community here. So really, really cool opportunity for those who were able to attend. And again, we definitely are looking into doing this more too, but don't worry, I'm not just going to show you pictures. Of course, I have takeaways from the event as well. So these are just some of the notes and things that we were hearing a lot during this. So one thing that we saw a lot, and when Becky was kind of looking through our ordinances, was that we highly favor single family homes here in Kenosha County. And when you're looking at those regulation details, a lot of them right now are via those local government direct review and working with those developers. So those kind of nitpicky areas or being able to make those changes aren't written into the code. You have to have a meeting around it. And then another really big one was something that we're talking about in that planning, zoning, and design standards group too. And the reason that design standards is in there is Kenosha County has a really high degree of concern about building design, materials, and aesthetics. And while Becky has done this a lot across the state, she hasn't really seen that as many places in the state too. And it really kind of shows in some of those zoning ordinances and specific municipalities across the county, as though, right, it has to complement this, or it has to look aesthetically pleasing here. However, those don't really have a measurable way to do it. So you're looking at it and you're like, okay, I could think this as a developer complements that. However, that still is up to that local direct review and negotiation. So looking to see how we can make those ordinances a little bit more measurable to make those developers have to go through less steps to build in the community. And then finally, this was through the conversations, and they had a little written sheet that they turned in at the end as well. But these were some of those interest areas people were really excited to talk about, was different building types, lot size requirements, local building codes, infrastructure assistance, and financial incentives. So again, a super duper cool opportunity. We are really excited to bring Becky down. While she has worked a lot in land use, I believe this was only about her second time doing this with residential areas. So they did it out in Eau Claire a year or two ago, but they're already talking about doing this in other ways and areas too. So we were very excited to be kind of on the forefront of this and say, hey, we're trying it in Kenosha County. It went awesome. So now we can say we are one of the first people to do it before it becomes a big thing in the state. So no, we're ahead of that curve. Alrighty, and then next two, those are two things that have been happening. Those were both this fall. We were very excited about them. But some other ongoing efforts is, I promise you that it's not the only fact sheet you are going to see from us. We do have 3 other ones in the work. We are currently finalizing that state of Kenosha County one. So that's taking that presentation and making it into a single page or two, so that front and back that we can bring to educational opportunities to anywhere they might be making decisions about housing, or just individuals who are like, why does this matter? We keep talking about housing. I don't know why. So now we're gonna have a, this is why, be able to hand it to them, lots of nice pretty colors, nice pretty pictures. And that was another thing with this landing page too, is people have been asking about it. And now we have a place to send them. So now we're trying to get more of that information on that page to send them to. And then another one, as we talked about with those flu results, we saw a lot of need to talk about different types of housing. So we've been looking at some of them that have kind of been getting a pushback, or just things that people might not know what they are. So we're really looking to delve into that and kind of say, hey, this is other places within, we're really hoping to get mostly in Wisconsin, but examples of where they have worked and been successful in Wisconsin to show that we are not reinventing the wheel here, that this has been something that has been proven to work and to work well, because we don't want to scare people with these new ideas. We want to show them that it is a plausible solution. And then one other big thing we've been hearing too is shared housing definitions. I'm sure you all have probably heard about 50 different definitions for affordable housing, 50 definitions for workforce housing. So we're really starting to have those conversations around what do we want all those specific things to mean here for us in Kenosha County and for this task force. So we're hoping to create that kind of glossary of terms and say, when we are referring to it, this is what we're referring to. So when people say, well, what do you mean by that? We can say, this is what it means. Because we know that affordable housing, workforce housing, Section 8 housing, low-income housing tax credits, those are all different things. They all mean different things. So we want to show that they all mean different things too. And then finally, one of those other ongoing efforts is I get to hang out with Andy and look at maps and stuff too, which is always exciting. But we are reverting that permitting and approval process. So looking to create more of a flow chart just to make it easier and kind of create something that municipalities can plug and chug into, just so it's more universal across the county. So developers feel more welcome by that and are better understanding of the timelines that they might be presented with if wanting to develop housing in Kenosha. So another big part we've been talking about too, especially in that promotions, is giving those presentations. So I'm going to highlight 2 opportunities I have gotten over the past few months to educate. So I know I got to see some of you all here at the Council of Governments meeting in September, but I did have the opportunity to talk about our housing task force there as well, which was really exciting to present what we've been doing to local municipalities, representatives at the state level and the federal level. And it was a really, really great opportunity to get more of this here in front of them and also to plug that flu training. I guarantee you I said it at least 4 times during that meeting and tried to get a giggle every time. Another thing I learned during this meeting and at the flu training is I need to get better at smiling when I'm presenting because some of these action shots are a little rough. So I put there as a reminder to smile more. And then one that I'm really, really excited to highlight, and was a big thing for me, not only for the housing task force, but professionally, was the WEDA conference, was in November, and I was asked to be a speaker on the Goldilocks Housing Plans for Communities panel. So this was very, very exciting, as I had never presented at a conference before. So I got to sit among some of, honestly, my housing heroes. You can see we have representatives down here from Dane County, Green Bay, and this is Kelly Westland, who presented on the CLTs and has been somebody who's helped me a lot through this housing process, and then me representing Kenosha County. We had a really, really great discussion about just different ways people have been kind of going about the housing task force. And this is Olivia Perry over in Dane County too. And she's been absolutely instrumental in helping kind of figure out how to make these fact sheets as well. So it's been just super duper cool. And we got to highlight the Kenosha County efforts at a state level, which was absolutely awesome. And I looked at Jason too during that meeting. I was like, oh yeah, there was at least like 40 people there, right? And he was like, nope, there was over 100. So got to talk to over 100 people about what we were doing at that state level. And another little plug and something really exciting too is after that, I did have a developer come up to me. He was sitting talking. He was like, yeah, I've been thinking about Milwaukee and Madison for so long. He's like, I never thought about Kenosha County. I'm going to keep track and keep tabs on you all because now I'm definitely more open to the idea of coming down here. So very exciting to already hear people after that meeting be more interested in what's going on here in Kenosha County. And then finally, just a few other things too, outside of the housing task force. I am not just doing housing inside the housing task force, but we're bringing it into everything I do. So one other thing too, is I was talking a little bit earlier about attending that Midwest Community Land Trust Conference. So community land trusts have been really big in other parts of the just region in general. So Minnesota has been really, really big on them. And I believe they currently have 7 that have been started or are currently functioning here in Wisconsin as well. So I went to go learn a little bit more about what it could look like and what steps need to be taken to create one, as when we had that CLT 101 during that kind of update meeting, we said, hey, let's learn more about it. So I had the opportunity to go there. So again, if you all want to talk about it or are interested, I'm still very much on the basics, but I'm still learning more. And then finally, this last one is very exciting to share with you all because I just kind of got some of this information this past week. So very excited to bring it to you all right now. But I am on a planning team for UW Extension to put on a Southeastern Wisconsin Regional Housing Summit. So we are kind of going at that regional level. We are doing that M7 region plus 3 more. So it is a 10-county region that we are just trying to put as much different opportunities to learn about housing in there as we can. And I did just talk to our other planning members, and it seems like we are gonna sign that contract hopefully by the end of this week for the Zufari area on May 7th, 2026. So if you all are free on that day, I would love to see you at our housing summit. But very excited about that, and we've been talking with our Kenosha County Housing Task Force too, saying, hey, this is happening. I've been making sure to keep them and all the work we're doing in the forefront of my brain while coming to this. And we are looking for an opportunity to let municipalities across the region be able to present to any developers there too, and kind of say, hey, this is what we've got going, so please come and develop in our area, to make sure that we are bringing our resources to this event as well. So that is all I have on housing. And before I wrap up too, I also wanted to add a little plug that's not housing, but just wanted to talk to you all about it as well. But one other thing I do sometimes is facilitate conversations, which I have done also with this housing task force, but with strategic plans, other things as well. And I know you all have been working with us for a while now and have probably seen a lot of really cool stuff come for us. I've heard of other things happening in other parts of the state with extension, but I wanted to offer up the opportunity to, if you all are interested, I know you all have working groups outside of this and have kind of those planning meetings outside of the PDEC meeting. But if you all would like to go through a facilitated conversation on what extension has been doing, kind of things you've been excited about, things you'd like us to kind of delve more into, me and Pam would be absolutely ecstatic and happy to come to one of those meetings and kind of collect some of that data and hear from you all as well. So that is what I have.
Thank you.
Of course, and any questions?
Nobody else has
Goodness,
any-
Aaron, yeah.
Well, so I went to the Council of Governments meeting and, so I thought you did a really good job there of promoting it. I did not go to the CLUE meeting, but, I came across an interesting article back in end of September from Realtor.com. And they've been studying some of the housing costs in the United States. And the article that really struck me was the title on it is, or the name is, U.S. birth rates plummet as home prices surge. Here's how the housing market is shaping family planning and more news. So they've actually they've got years of data that ties to the fact that the birth rates go down tremendously as the housing costs increase. So this is, a bigger issue. And I think that should be highlighted as well, is that, it's not just we're dealing with Kenosha County here, trying to find workforce or something like that. It's a long-term, larger issue.
Absolutely. We've been having a lot of those conversations too, like statewide too, and at bigger conferences about that. And I love bringing in the birth rates too, because I do have a background in public health. So that is always in the back of my brain too. Another article I also saw while we've been doing a lot of this research is looking at how that family unit has been kind of differently structured and what a household looks like. We've actually also seen an increase of non-related households too. So a lot more people are getting roommates too because of that same reason. So maybe not as many people in your immediate family, but people are still needing to pay those costs. So they're having to live with roommates much farther from when they initially had to before too.
Just a comment that I think really looking at ADUs and what are the possibilities with ADUs. There's a lot of property within Kenosha County where it would make a lot of sense to put an ADU on the property. She's like, no.
I don't know what an ADU is.
Oh, accessory dwelling unit.
Oh,
so-
you talked about.
Yeah, so granny flats, things along those lines.
So, that solves a lot of problems, whether it is a launching young adult or whether it is a granny flat or, whatever, that I think there's a lot of ways that we could really look at expanding and making the housing a lot better for people. And I think that's something that I really think we should be focusing on and looking at how can we do that in a structured, safe way. I mean, I don't want somebody just, hauling a empty train car into their backyard and calling it good. But, I think that, obviously there need to be standards, but I think that there's plenty of places where we could be using that.
Yes, we've been talking a lot about that too. That's actually when we were creating that list of different housing types that we wanted to talk about, that was number one on the list. And actually number two is looking at those like manufactured homes, things along those lines too, as a lot of those have also are much higher in standards that people have initially probably thought too. We've also been talking a lot with our Habitat for Humanity on those manufactured homes, and they are putting in two kind of cross mod manufactured homes out in Kenosha. I believe they are gonna be done around April is a hope too. So if you all are interested in that as well, they will have open houses to go and look at those homes as well. But yes, that is a huge one that we've been talking about. A lot of people across the state have been talking about that too. People have started talking about legislation around accessory dwelling units as well. So it's definitely something we've been keeping our eye on and making sure that we have that. But we're still working on some of our literature too. If anybody is interested in learning more, AARP also has some really, really great articles called like the ABCs of ADUs. And they go through and talk about what all the different names might be and kind of how they are incorporating those into a lot of places in the country as well.
So just comment on that. So I thought about that as well too, but I think one of the things that has to definitely be considered is the fact that you're putting more people in a denser area, and with the current service level of, let's put it, tax cap, or the cap on taxes that the villages and cities and towns all have from the mandate from the state, that you're essentially not creating value to offset some of the increased cost on the services, and it might put local municipalities in a tighter spot. So I think that also needs to be considered and addressed as well. And then the fact that there's a potential for, a large influx, like if you allow it, then there's, you might get more people than you want in there. So that's the smart part about it, not just, what. You gotta be careful what you allow,
Right, exactly.
because you could strain local municipalities and school districts and whatever else that might not be ready for it.
We've definitely been looking at those conversations as well too. We have people who are in those local municipalities who are also engaging with us during those working groups. So we've definitely been talking about that. We have the schools on that group as well. And another thing too that we've kind of been referencing back to is in our research, we saw Wauwatosa did also actually create an incentive to create them. And based on the last time I looked, I think they might have gotten one, maybe none of like people who have built those, and they were giving financial incentives to create them. So I think a lot of people are worried about that influx of it right away too. But based on some of those other kind of things we've observed in the community so far, people who have introduced them have not seen as great of an influx as they might have thought. But we are definitely continuing to have those conversations while we're bringing this and creating that education to bring out to our communities.
And just, I'm supportive of it. I think it's a good thing because like you, I see opportunities that it can be, that it is possible. But I just, again, doing it smartly.
Yes.
And communicating it is a big deal.
Absolutely.
So one thing that I'd like to say is Savannah has been very helpful and very strategic in allowing us to move forward from our initial efforts when we had a housing task force back in 2019, and then we did another one in 2021. Before COVID shut everything down, but we just had difficulty trying to advance forward with the horsepower that we didn't have. And so when this position was created and was changed, which everyone was aware about, we were able to tap into Savannah and her abilities in this position to really take a hold of what we had and be able to move forward now that we had someone that could dedicate a lot of time and put together information and do our work with the goal setting and working through all of that and helping Nicole, who's the director of CAVA, and myself, who were really the only ones working on this. So I just want to give a shout out on that. And that's probably why she's getting recognized, at least that and other reasons, but that has helped us get to where we are today. So I just wanted to let you all know that.
Always a pleasure to listen to Savannah speak. She's a very good presenter. I, for one, really appreciate that. So, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or want to chat more housing after the meeting too, I'm only ever an email away. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. All right. Camille, you're in the hot seat.
Hello, everyone. I'm Camille, as you know, and I thought we would start off by reviewing YIG attendance. If you guys just want to pass around, each person can have a copy. So as I'm sure you guys are familiar, youth and governance members are expected to attend at least 60% of the meetings to their appointed committees. Alternates don't have that attendance requirement. But in good news, everyone is in good standing. Everyone is at 60% or higher, which is awesome, in terms of their committee meetings. So, I think that's really great news and we're in a great position. The next attendance check is in February. But yeah, so they're conducted at the end of November. This is the outcome. If you have any questions about it, the first page is just that overview of the meetings I counted, which, as we reviewed in the spring, only one meeting a month counts towards the overall attendance. So if two get scheduled, I didn't count that in the total, but, yeah, some youth have been attending more meetings, which is really great to see too. The spreadsheet after is compiled by Amanda Sorensen, so I'm very grateful for her support and keeping track of youth attendance. So, and the other county clerks, of course, as well. And then on the fourth page, I believe, is the county board attendance. So, youth are required to attend 3 meetings before the end of their term. We have 10 youth who have attended at least 1 meeting, outside the initial orientation, which is a really great point to be at this time of year. So I'm pretty pleased with, yeah, just how everyone's been participating and engaging in the program. And then on the page after the county board, you can see that people have been documenting when other youth attend meetings that aren't part of their assigned committee. So it's great to see that engagement as well. And then on the last page, the YIG service project is optional this year. I will say Timothy has been leading that charge, so he's very passionate about this, and it's been great to see his leadership. He helped recruit some other YIG members, and helped draw them in initially, so they're still in the very early stages, but yeah, we've had 4 meetings this year, 1 more before the end of the year. We've had a guest speaker from the Shalom Center, Wendy Cross came. And just spoke about housing and security. And we'll have another guest speaker who will be a youth this time in January to share more about the project he just implemented, which was a hygiene drive for the Shalom Center. So that's something the youth are considering right now. But yeah, if you have any questions about committee attendance or other county board attendance, let me know.
What's the percentage they have to be at February?
60%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so those will be conducted at the end of February, so I'll probably be back here in March with updates then.
And then for the county board, the very first one counts as one of their 3. And then, or does it not?
From my memory, I believe it does not count unless they stayed the whole time. So I do remember that John Began, however you pronounce his last name, did stay till the end because I was cleaning up.
Yeah,
And he was there, so I would just,
but other people have left, yeah.
yeah, after
Okay.
they were inducted.
So, and then the very last one of the year does not count. The one where they get the award does not count.
Correct.
So they need to have 3 in there
In between.
in between. Got it. Okay.
Based on our conversations from the spring, that's the requirement.
And are they aware of their status of those meetings? Have you been?
Yes,
Okay.
I emailed in September for both county board and just general committee stance. And then for youth who could potentially be borderline, I sent a follow-up email in October, just making sure that they attended their upcoming meetings. But I think after this, either this week or through the new year, I will send updates, just letting them know where they're at and the requirements to be able to be recognized for youth, their youth and governance
For
participation.
the full county board. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Again, especially with the mark here, on the very first one, it looks like everybody attended.
Yeah.
But that's not actually realistic because people left. So, making sure that people understand that if that didn't count is, I think, gonna be really important. Thank you.
Yeah, and I can make sure to clarify that when I communicate via email.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I've been CCing the mentors on my communication too, so I'll make sure to keep doing that too.
Bill and I had a conversation about the standards this year and how Timothy might be making them a little tougher for everybody else since he's an alternate and shows up for everything. So there will not be any exceptions when people come and say, well, but no. Sorry, Timothy really ruined that for you, which is awesome. So I'm really happy because.
Yeah, no,
He's really good.
Timothy is very passionate, so it's great to see that engagement in the
And
program. Yeah.
I mean, every time I turn around, he's like talking to somebody, he's on the floor talking.
Every time I'm at a board meeting, he asks me questions.
Yeah,
about-
it's really.
Every time.
interesting.
Yeah.
Not that we're criticizing you, I'm just saying. All right, cool.
Any
Any
other
other
questions?
questions?
Sounds good. Thank you. It's helpful.
Yep.
For sure. Great. And then, speaking of, attendance and setting the expectations for the next cohort, it is approaching nomination season, so I have, the nomination packets prepared here, so that y'all can see them. I will be emailing these out, after the new year, when schools are back in session and, people are, more responsive to emails after the holidays. So, I have both youth and governance and youth as resources materials included here. And I also just wanted to see if anyone was initially interested in being a part of the YIG interview committee this year. Last year we had Supervisor Decker, Supervisor Geertsen, and Supervisor Chairperson Brown serve as the YIG interview committee as well as last year's YIG reps. So yeah, if anyone is initially interested, let me know now.
Depending on the days, I would.
Okay, I was looking at the last week of March, first week of April potentially. So if those dates are tentatively available to you guys,
Well, that's week of March, you said.
yeah, it could be the last 2 weeks of March or the first week of April, because we came back for this PDEC meeting to approve the YIG recommendations to forward to the county board chair for her appointment. So I think that gives us like that last week of March, which is the 30th, to also conduct interviews. And I think that's in the sweet spot of Westosha and KUSD spring break. So we could be able to avoid some youth who may be out of town and asking for accommodations or something. So,
Yeah, because Easter Sunday is the 5th, so.
yeah,
Spring break's gonna start.
yeah. But yeah, maybe the 23rd through like April 1st potentially, if you guys are available. You'll be a part of the committee, great, okay. Supervisor Brown. And Supervisor Decker.
Someone, yep.
Okay, and Supervisor Meadows.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Challenge for me is that I have kids on spring break, so. We usually end up doing something.
Which is nice for your family.
Yeah.
Understood. Awesome, great. So that's pretty much all I had. If you have any questions about youth and governance or the nomination materials or recruitment, let me know, but
I will try to distribute again. I tried a few people last year, but did not seem to get much traction out of Vermont, out of the West End, so I will.
Speak at any of the students, can you do that?
um,
Especially like in government classes?
I do offer to come in person, but the schools never schedule me, so I just ask like, hey, if you have any times that work good, like I have a pretty open schedule, but I think that volunteer never comes from the school, which is understandable, but yeah, I do offer it.
Can you ask if you can go, like, I mean, set up in the cafeteria or whatever and just have a banner or something?
Yeah, I could see if they have like, I know like colleges will come in and stuff, so I could see if there's any available days that I could come table.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm almost thinking about saying something like the county board would like me to come out and.
Yeah, exactly. Change, yeah, use that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to get open more doors, yeah.
What dates work
The
best for
county
you?
board has requested that I attend government classes since they're woefully,
Represented from
Yeah.
left end.
Wilmot and Central are woefully underrepresented or not represented at all.
Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna say for youth and governance, we do not have any Vermont kids, so,
Actually,
yeah, we have one youth serving on our yard board, but not youth and governance, so.
Ernie, you talk to the principal.
I have, a couple years ago, that didn't help. And counselors too.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think, just doing that outreach to schools will be good. I know some youth last year took materials to their school counselors, especially with the yard board. So I found that to be really helpful in outreach, and thankfully they also delivered some youth and governance stuff too. But, yeah, maybe seeing if any youth and governance members want to take that initiative. I know my yard board kids have been, brainstorming ways, and they suggested like having a morning announcement. So maybe if the kids would like to volunteer and like read about nomination, I could see if anyone's interested, but Yeah.
You send to like Shoreland and some of the other private schools, you send to that, okay.
yeah, last year I don't think we got any nominations, but the year prior we had 2 youth serving. Or no, last year we had 2 youth serving on, from Shoreland. That's what it is, yeah.
The only other thing I would suggest is, if you're emailing these packets, email them to churches.
Yeah,
Because the churches and the youth groups, you know, like they know their high school kids. And they might be able to,
Mhm.
you know, belong,
Encourage them, yeah.
encourage them to, you know, here's some, a positive way to get involved.
yeah, I can definitely look into that. I know, I definitely, email the local homeschool group too, so, and share it with the libraries and other community partners like that.
Kind of.
Yeah, are you sharing these like teachers, like government specific or history teachers?
I do, but if like, I know there's a lot of staff turnover, so if there's someone you think I should reach out to specifically, I would appreciate the contact information. Yeah, that would be
You
helpful.
know, Miss Savaki, she nominates like a lot of students, like my brother said, he was counselor. She's like a counselor and is like really involved in like F&P and like she like runs like a ton of
I
clubs,
was
so
gonna
like
say, like, she supports your guys'
everyone like knows her, like I know my older brother said that like she's the one who like nominates like a lot of kids for like youth and resources and like youth and governance and like she's like the main one for school nominates.
Okay, I'll definitely put her on the contact list then. Thanks for this.
Or like Miss Lindsay.
Yeah, but feel free to send me more recommendations too of like club advisors or stuff like that. That's helpful.
Who's the youth as a resource from Wilmot?
Samantha Keating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I reached out to Colleen.
Oh,
And
really?
I was like, hey, 'cause she's really involved in stuff, and I'm like, spread the word.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah, we're
Sam's a good kid.
Couldn't get somebody for a youth and governance.
I did not work out, so, hey, I'll take the small, I'll take the victory on the other one, so.
Yeah, I guess I'll also plug right now too that we have an open yard board position. So if you know any adult who might be interested in like mentorship and would be a good fit for the yard board. We're currently recruiting an adult volunteer for that too. If I could share those materials, I was gonna email the supervisors this information in the new year with my general promotion, so I can include that information as well.
That'd be great.
Thank you guys.
Boys and Girls Club? Have you to contact them?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
I
like,
know,
where all my kids come from? Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Yes.
If anyone has any other recommendations, Camille is but an email away. All right. Thanks, Camille.
Thank you guys.
And
Just a few announcements or just information to share. As part of the budget reduction exercise, our dean asked that area extension directors distribute a survey that went to county execs, the chair of the boards, and the chairs of the extension and education committees. And basically it was just to see, what do you see the role of AEDs, the relationship? And one of the things he was exploring too is, do we keep it as is, or for budgetary reasons, do we have fewer AEDs? Do we go to regional model, that sort of thing? And so there were three main themes that came from the survey results that I would like to share with you regarding AED realignment. And one was that it was identified that area extension directors provide a strong local connection, and that AEDs provide or have insight into community need. And finally, that AEDs are provide effective supervision of educators and staff. It was decided though to reduce from 21 AEDs to 19. And basically, so there were some AEDs who now will have more counties and some will remain the same. I am one that will remain the same. We have 2 larger counties, and so there will be no change. So there's no effect to area. Will be now area 19 instead of area 22. Honestly, it'd be great if we just dropped the numbers, right? Because 19 doesn't have any. But I will continue to be with Kenosha Racine. And at this time, there's no intention to add any additional counties. So that will.
do you know what county, because I've read the email and it had like, it repeated the information 3 times, but didn't tell me what changed.
Oh, and well, what changed was, right, we did it like if they would have had it before and after. So it had up with outlines with the numbers, and then it has who will be in those areas starting January 1. And then it had who's currently covering those areas. And part of the reason for that is there are 6 AED positions open right now. And so they were just posted. So that 3rd page was more the interim, like here's who's covering those counties right now. And that was part of that discussion too. Due to attrition, do we just go with 6 fewer AEDs and realign, like really realign? Or do we not do as much? And like in our county, between the 2 counties, we have quite a few educators. There are some counties that have 1 or 2. And so sometimes it's someone has 5 counties, but they have fewer educators than even our county here. So there's some of that as well, but they have great traveling distance and they still go to county meetings, and those AEDs provide that support for the educators and for the county. So that was why all that was being supported during that time. So thank you very much for completing the survey. You're much appreciated.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
How many counties participate in extension versus how many do not overall?
71 out of 72.
Does that change year over year? Do people drop and add, or is it pretty consistent?
Pretty consistent. In fact, we were 72 for years and years and years, and Vilas County dropped, I don't know, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 years ago. And so now there's even been some initial talks again about perhaps coming back on. And then we also have some of the AEDs work with some of the tribal nations as well.
Good, thank you.
Sure. And then just wanted to share with you that Carolyn Van Sloten is helping out in Racine County as well, up to 10 hours a week, and they are above and beyond. So she does her 40 hours here, and she's helping with 4-H there because the 4-H program educator there is out until the beginning of March. So this is her top priority, but I wanted you to know in case if you heard anything or like, why is Carolyn answering these emails for Racine 4-H or that kind of thing, that you understand why that's happening. And then finally, our nutrition educators, our 2 nutrition educators, Jillian
and Rebecca have now settled into the KCC, and Andy and your staff, thank you very much, because we know we've been taking up space with some of those boxes as we're getting people settled. So you'll see 2 new faces around as they do their nutrition education here in the county and in Racine as well, since they're 50-50. Thank you.
Somebody want to tell us about them?
Oh, that was just that, right? Hand you something and then not explain it. Yes, I would love to.
Thank you.
Just wanted to share.
I thought it was.
General information. This is at the statewide level, but we have this Raising Wisconsin Children's Conference coming up on February 4th. And many of you, you are very connected in your communities. You may know of parents who maybe would want to attend this, childcare providers, any professional who works with children, families, community members, you are welcome to attend. So just sharing this with you, and there are also 6 hours of continuing education units available for those who are child care providers. So just thought if you knew someone who maybe would be interested, since it is free and virtual, that's why I wanted you to have a flyer so you could share it with someone that can take pictures of QR code and register. Thank you for the reminder.
Should you do me a favor and
Yeah.
email that in electronic form?
I can do that, I'm sure. Anyone else?
Easy to
Send it
forward.
I'll send it to everybody, yeah. Yes, I would do that.
I should update on one more program.
No,
It-
no,
it's
you're
kind
done.
of-
I'm so sorry. I also sit as our secretary for future leaders in Kenosha, so that is our young professional group too. So it serves, right now, a lot of the events are happening in Kenosha, but as a proud resident of Twin Lakes, I want people to know it goes all the way to the western part of the county too. We do have an event at UW Parkside on Tuesday of next week. It is one of our build and brews. We do them in the morning and at night. This one is in the evening. But if you bring a toy donation for anybody who's under 40 who's looking to kind of hang out, we do have the Bear Club out there that is going to be for our group. And you can just show up and enjoy the basketball games for free. So if you know any young professionals in the community, we are trying to get more people involved in this too. So it's 18 to about 40 is kind of our group right now too. So we're looking a little bit above 21 because in some of the events there is alcohol served. But if you know other young professionals, especially west of the interstate, please send them our information, send them our way.
Can you email that, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm just looking around the room thinking,
Camille does go to some of our events with us, yes.
I'm thinking like my kid.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? No, all right. Thank you. Any of us, anything else? No? Okay. Need a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve minutes.
Second.
I have a motion from Supervisor Meadows and a second from Supervisor Carroll with the CEO, yeah.
I beat Supervisor, can the record show I beat Supervisor?
The big one's coming up. Yeah. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed and abstaining?
Move to adjourn.
Oh,
Literally.
Any comments? Yeah.
So in January, we actually have no items, correct, April? So with January, we won't have a meeting, but in February we will. And in February, we will have the battery energy storage system, which could be a big issue depending on how things go at the Wheatland town level. So be prepared for that, but you got your second Wednesday in January open and free.
Thank you.
That was it.
Unless you're the
Not moved to adjourn in February.
Yes.
Chairman, committee members, supervisors.
Does anyone else have any comments?
That was just all
Go ahead, Supervisor Meadows.
Supervisors, any comments? No? All right.
Move to adjourn.
second.
All right. You got a motion?
I gave it to you.
Meadows, second from Supervisor Decker, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Have a Merry
carried
Christmas.
unanimously. Yeah.
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 Merry Christmas.